Hey everybody, this is Beelit, and this is the final episode of Street Fighter V Online. Now, I know it's been a while. This set is really old, okay? And I'm not going to say this is my excuse. I'm not going to call it an excuse. I'm just going to say this is the reason that this video did not go up sooner. At the beginning of the year, I was working 2 jobs and going to school. Now, at the end of the year, I'm working 1 really big job and going to school. I only have 1 day off from work per week, and when I do have my day off, I'm kind of tired, you know, and I want to rest. And I don't always have the energy or the willingness to sit down and edit videos and stuff like that with my 1 day off. So, when I did have the energy to do something like that, I would work on things that I enjoyed a little bit more. Street Fighter V was not high on my list, so this didn't happen very quickly. I'm sorry, but this set has been sitting on my computer for a long time, and as soon as I played it, I knew that this was going to be the final online episode. I highly doubt that I will ever be coming back to Street Fighter V, which is why I'm going ahead and calling this the final episode. It may happen that I come back to Street Fighter V, although those chances are extraordinarily low. But I really wanted this to be, if I was going to stop, the last episode, because this is not only my favorite set that I've ever had in Street Fighter V, but it's one of my favorite sets that I've played throughout all of my fighting games. Not to say it's a top 3 or top 5, but it's up there. It's one of the most memorable ones. And the reason for that is that a lot of times when you play someone below your experience or at your experience level, a lot of times it'll come down to the same old things. You know, whether or not you can stop some part of their character. It's very character specific now that I think about it. When you fight someone below your level or at your level, it's very character specific. And a lot of times when you fight someone at your level, it's the most frustrating there because they're doing the most powerful things, but then they actually have skill behind it as well. You know, to go even further past just having the character completely sponsor them. You know, now they have knowledge and experience to inform the character being crazy good. And that's one of the most frustrating things. But when you fight someone who's really good, really good, you almost don't really feel as though the character means that much. You know, it's more about the mind game that you have going, more so than the character's tools and what the characters are good at. You know, it's more so about what that person is thinking in the moment, and if you're thinking what they're thinking, and if they're thinking about what you're thinking, they're thinking. You know, and it's really entertaining to have matches like that, where it's not so much about, hey, my character has a really good jump in, and you can't anti-air me, therefore guess. You know, it's not about that. It's more so about, I know what you're about to do, and I'm going to counter it this way. And the next time that we get to that same position, you're going to have to think twice about whether or not you're going to do the same thing that you did before that got countered, and I'm going to steal an extra turn from it. You know, and so when you get to something like that at a higher level than just like the intermediate stuff, when it's just you and the other person at the same level, when you get to something that's just, it almost feels like it transcends the characters, it's so freaking enjoyable to play fighting games. And that's what I felt in this game. Make no mistake, this player was way better than me. Way better than me. And if you look at the name PS4 Ryu 1, this was clearly a Heidi account. There is no freaking way that this guy was genuinely a, I don't know if I'm like bronze rank in this. I don't know what rank I am. There's no way that they're genuinely only at that level. They're in all likelihood at this point now, or whenever they decided to stop and go to their next Heidi account, they're clearly a really strong player. So they were really good, and they were able to give me a match that went beyond the kind of standard, let's just see what our characters do this time kind of match, if that makes sense. I want to briefly talk about my enjoyment of Street Fighter V, kind of an overview and what I would rate it. When Street Fighter V first came out, it was okay. I kind of liked it, and I do like Street Fighter V more than Street Fighter IV. I would much rather play Street Fighter V over Street Fighter IV pretty much any day of the week. Well, actually, yes, any day of the week I'd rather play Street Fighter V. And, you know, I'm really not always in the mood for Street Fighter V. But I didn't really like Street Fighter IV. It was a little bit too... It was too much for me, as far as... Actually, honestly, it was pretty much just execution. That was my biggest issue with Street Fighter IV. I just didn't want to have to sit there and spend 10 days practicing a freaking B&B and all that kind of crap. That was honestly the biggest thing for me. And then just not knowing what all the characters did, because there were like 50-something characters. Like, I'm always seeing something new. So I came in late to Street Fighter IV, so that could be part of why my idea of Street Fighter IV is kind of framed the way that it is, and why I really just don't like it, because I came in really late. I had always watched it, but I played the game very late. When Street Fighter V first came out, I enjoyed it a lot more than I ended up enjoying it. And I think part of that was because I started by playing Ryu. And Ryu was just a solid character. I think when the game first came out, he was really good. He was probably like top 5. But there were only like 10 characters, so I mean. But he always stayed consistent throughout the patches, I felt. And I think the biggest thing that led to me not liking the game and really losing interest in it was when I switched to Juri. Juri sucks. She sucked. I don't know if she's better now, but oh my goodness, it was frustrating, and it just became unfun to play the game at a certain point. My interest really declined, and so part of it may be that, you know, playing Juri just made me not like the game as much. That's very possible. I wouldn't doubt it. But nonetheless, I did start to decline on the game until ultimately I just felt no further desire to play it. Other games came out, and I would play games with friends a little bit more, and Street Fighter V just kind of became redundant. I enjoy Injustice 2 much more than Street Fighter V. Even at my lowest points with Injustice 2, I would say my lowest points with Injustice 2 are probably as high as my highest points with Street Fighter V, oddly enough. But if I were to give the game a rating out of 10, 10 being a perfect game for me, I would probably give the game a 6. It's not that I don't think the game is bad. It's just not for me. It's not my ideal game. I would never really question why someone would play the game. I would never, say that it's a bad game. I wouldn't really say any game was a bad game except for Naruto. But but yeah, for me, I would never, I would never demean someone for enjoying Street Fighter V. It's just not my cup of tea. So for me, 6 out of 10. I enjoy the game to a degree. I'm glad that I bought it, glad that I played it. I don't regret anything like that. Just wasn't really for me. I don't foresee myself coming back to it, but I have no hard feelings. I greatly appreciate you guys for sticking around and watching. I will continue with Injustice 2, and you may see little clips of Street Fighter V, but the chances of you actually seeing a full-blown Street Fighter V online episode from this point on, pretty much 0%. So anyway, thank you guys for watching. I will see you guys next time.